You're having a great evening. In our top stories of today, receiving justice at times comes with very high cost to pay for legal advice, interpretation of the laws and understanding the processes. Now, whereas there are pro bono services where free legal services are rendered to the public, the number of those in need of services outnumbers the providers, hence making the service ineffective. With the enforcement of mediation in civil cases, the stakeholders have created a platform to fight not only stigma and discrimination, but also attend to the vulnerable groups. Today's mediation feature focuses on the justice system vis-a-vis people living with HIV and AIDS.
The complex nature of the interpretation of the court language and the laws makes it hard for some vulnerable persons, especially the illiterate, to represent themselves in courts of law. Although some people have tried to represent themselves, research indicates that few have managed to win cases due to complications of interpretation, even when it could have been in their favor.
You are convicted of belonging to a terrorist organization.
Those, among others, have prompted many vulnerable persons to give up on seeking justice in courts of law, and some have ended up being robbed of their hard-earned little monies in the quest for seeking for justice. However, some people have opted for other means like mediation and pre-bargain, among others. Mediation is a process in which disputed parties present their case or argument to a neutral third party to hand them a binding decision that favors both disputed parties. It encourages the parties to look beyond legal rights to their underlying interests and treat a dispute as a mutual problem to be solved by the parties.
As it saves time, we see that we do not really pile a lot of cases with court.
Most times, the issues between you and me, and the two of us know where the problem is. We want to unlock that problem at the soonest. That decision is part and parcel of the court decision, and it is enforceable. It can be enforced like any decision made by a judicial officer.
Mediation has not only addressed stigma and discrimination, but also an ear to vulnerable groups in many cases. Role model court mediators have come up openly to offer mediation services, even in cases involving HIV/AIDS.
There is this one dispute I've ever handled. It looked like a land issue, but behind it, there was an HIV-related matter. The brothers got land, inherited land from their father, but one of them was infected with HIV, and the other one felt like, no, this is a walking dead. Why should he be getting land? We had to sit them down, showing them that you're all children, you have equal rights.
A gentleman was HIV positive. They arrested him for trespass, but when trespass was not strong enough for the people who were suing him, they raised it to defilement. Because he was HIV positive, it was going to be aggravated defilement.
However, those carrying out mediation have been faced with various challenges.
People think maybe you've already taken a side, so they feel a bit uncomfortable.
You find that even at the university, the focus is on education.
Some parties come to a mediation and they are not willing to disclose important information that would help in the settlement.
With the above challenges, one wonders how the system can be set up to spread throughout the country and the measures that have been put in place to avoid frustration in another area.
We do some training across the country so that the country is serviced with enough number of mediators. As a court, we must have that human approach to appreciating and understanding the circumstances surrounding the case and the parties.
Like the way we've been handling other mediation, we shall try as much as possible to see that HIV people have the same rights, equal rights like any other person.
Whereas some cases involving HIV/AIDS have been reported in courts of law, there has been a delay in disposing of these cases, which in turn hinders timely justice.
Most people try to shun away from people knowing their statuses, but through the discussions you have, the mediations you keep on conducting, that's when you get the elements.
Some of them are aware of their rights, okay, including disclosing their status. We cannot tell from the face value.
The judicial system really need to come up with trainings to help these judicial officers embrace all matters, even regarding the HIV-related matters.
Okay. First of all, we have the principle of first in, first out. Okay, and there are special categories involving women, children.
Over time, those involved in advocating for the rights of people living with, affected by, and at risk of getting HIV have tried to come up with initiatives aimed at seeking justice for those people.
When we get out the people who are sick from prison, it's a plus for us, because then we know that in prison they cannot access all the services that they should access.
Although initiatives have been put in place, the implementation has been hard for some of the stakeholders in the justice system.
But what I know, that prisoners try to hide their medicine. Most of them do not swallow the medicine. When we were doing a research in prison, one of them told us that nze simira ddagala ate eddagala olimirira ku mmere kati mire eddagala linzite.
Come out, okay, so that they can be assisted. Number two, institutions to become sensitive about such challenges and accord the necessary interventions.
With an aim to address HIV and AIDS-related cases, the government passed the HIV and AIDS Prevention and Control Act of 2015, which criminalized HIV in the country. Though with the current situation, there are some gaps in the law.
The mischief was that HIV was not treatable at the time when the act was made. And HIV was a death sentence. You got it, you died. But today, people are living with HIV as though they have no problem at all, because there is medicine that sustains life.
But given that these things are coming to light, I think there is need to revisit or review the HIV Act. We find ways of balancing it. We should not discriminate people with HIV. It should not be a standalone.
Unlike in petty and civil cases where mediation is emplaced, capital offences offer the pre-bargain option.
It is a negotiated sentence where you find that the accused or the prisoner now applies to plead guilty to the offence, and punishment of the sentence is negotiated.
I think we haven't handled many sessions with overemphasized plea bargain, and people feel like they have to take part in plea bargain if they did not commit offences as such. You understand? So people end up accepting to have committed offences, yet in real life they didn't really do that.
The public also needs to understand how to benefit and access the services and the system.
When you come to criminal justice, instead, the treatment is far different. We do not consider that you're sick. We consider that you committed an offense. So a person going to prison, when that person is HIV positive, I want to call it, it's double jeopardy for them.
So if you come to police and you've committed an offense, so it's up to you to disclose whether you have HIV, because remember they're supposed to be taking drugs at a particular time. So those things need to be looked into.
Since cases involving HIV and AIDS in the country are criminal in nature, stakeholders need to diverse means on how to apply some of the fundamental principles in handling such cases.
I think that the problem of criminal justice should be, it's an overall problem, that we have too many people than the system is ready to handle. We get too many suspects, we have too many inmates than the system was ever prepared to handle.
We should embrace a human approach dealing with people who have committed offences but are also HIV positive. We have to come back on board for the lawmakers to know that a person living with HIV and AIDS is also a normal person who should have the same rights like any other person.
Meeting the demand for timely and affordable legal services is critical to stemming HIV-related human rights abuses in Uganda and elsewhere. As a country, Uganda has come up with initiatives to end HIV, among others, formulating various laws and policies in order to curb the spread of the virus among the people, to promote the rights of those already affected and those who are not yet affected with the virus. The government's target is to see zero AIDS among people living with HIV come the year 2030. Deborah Namamonde, Rose Bukirwakagwa, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Deborah. In more stories, President Yoweri Museveni has reiterated his call to Ugandans to exercise prevention as the main strategy and solution in the fight against HIV and AIDS. He made the remarks today during the World AIDS Day commemoration held at Chibale Playground in Rakai District. The event ran under the theme Ending AIDS by 2030, Keeping Communities at the Center. Every year on the 1st of December, the world commemorates the International AIDS Day, where people around the globe unite to show support for people living with and affected by HIV and AIDS and to remember those who lost their loved ones to the scourge. The president also advised Ugandans that they should keep their children in school in order to control the rising numbers of HIV and AIDS infections among the young people. President Museveni further urged parents to embrace government programs like Parish Development Model and Nemyoga in order to improve the livelihoods of their families and have their children not to become so desperate trying to sell themselves to make a living. President Museveni, on the other hand, advised the people who are already living with the virus to live a positive life and take medication as prescribed by health practitioners. The Minister for Presidency, Honorable Babiriye Mili Babalanda, revealed that President Museveni's efforts in working with and supporting the scientists and other players in the fight against HIV and AIDS enabled Ugandans to bring down the HIV prevalence from 18% in the 1990s, when the Uganda AIDS Commission had just created, to now 5%.
People around the world unite to show support for the people living with and affected by HIV and to remember those who lost their lives to AIDS. The world can end AIDS with the communities leading the way and with excellent leadership like yours. Today, after 4 decades of AIDS, we are not only celebrating the World AIDS Day, but we are recognizing Rakai as the epicenter of the AIDS pandemic before it was described in the entire country.
Under the theme, Ending AIDS by 2030, Keeping Communities at the Center. Your Excellency, this theme resonates very well with your commitment and deliberate interest in ensuring that all Ugandans are healthy. Through a range of sustainable interventions over the years, including immunization for all, advocacy and awareness creation whenever there is a challenge, where you participate personally through the TV or the radio. Thirdly, preparedness in the fight against epidemics, preparedness against viruses and bacterial diseases, and well-laid strategies, Your Excellency, in the fight against malaria, and the provision of health infrastructure across the country, together with equipment and the human resource.
nti be basinga okukwatibwa akawuka kano. Naye ekyo nakyo kivudde mu bujeemu bwammwe bw'abantu bammwe. Kubanga 96 nze nabaleetera abaana bonna basomere bwereere mu masomero ga gavumenti. Naye no wansi enkola eyo mwagiremesa. Abakulu b'amasomero n'abakakiiko k'amasomero bakomyawo ebisale mu masomero ga gavumenti. Ebisale ebyo bye bigoba abaana mu masomero. Kati abaana bemugoba mu masomero be bano bemugamba nti bakwatibwa ku myaka 15 simanyi bikyabo bebo. Songa jjajja w'abaana Uganda, jjajja w'abaana bano abazukulu bano yali asazeewo nti abaana basomera obwereere. Singa mukirize ekintu ekyo ne muva mu bujeemu ne muwuliriza bye mbagamba, tewandibaddewo abaana abalemeddwa okusoma nti kubanga tebalina bisale, nti kubanga banaku. Ekyo twandikijjeewo. So awo ne tunyweza eri ensomesa eya kubanga bw'ava mu ssomero talina muweerera kwe kutandika okwekwata bino ebisajja ebikadde ebyalwaladda ne bimusiiga. N'olwekyo bwe mba mukkiriza muddeyo ku nkola yange abaana basomera obwereere mu masomero ga gavumenti. Tuwabangawo aleeta ebisale mu masomero ga gavumenti. Singa mukola ekyo omuziziko ogwo mba mugugjeeko. Kati eyo namba emu, okwewala namba emu. Omukulwana kwaffe mwewale akawuka. Abaana bonna mubasomese kuva mu buto mu masomero ga primary mu maka nti okwewala kusinga okwerinda nokukira okutambirwa. Kati bwe tuva ku ekyo ne tusanga nti eky'omukisa omubi waliwo akwatiddwa akawuka ako oba okuva kati saagala omuntu omupya akwatibwa akawuka kubanga tukimanyi gye katandikira gye kava. Naye bali abakwatibwa akawuka bo bakozesa eddagala ng'abasawo bwe basomeseza wano. Era njagala kwebaza abantu nga Dr. Watiti n'abalala kubanga batuyambye okulaga nti kisoboka wadde akawuka kamulumba asobola okuwangaala omu bulamu ne kimuwa omukisa okukuza abaana bazadde ne bakula. Abanyankole bakyeta okunyeetsa abaana n'okukola emirimu okutuuka mu myaka gy'obukadde.
For many HIV and AIDS patients, dealing with negativity has become a daily ordeal. Despite some achievements in the fight against the disease, Uganda still has an uphill task to eradicate stigma and discrimination levied against patients. For Orishawa Dorcas, non-trial names, from Kiruhura district who acquired the virus in 2009, she almost committed suicide as her own family members discriminated against her to the extent of denying her food after disclosing to them her HIV and AIDS status. This is her story.
For Orishawa Dorcas, not her real names, living positively for 14 years now has come with hard-to-explain challenges. Dorcas first learned of her status in 2009 after suffering endless illnesses. Life then spiraled out of control for the girl who had a vision for her family.
Aherize kungambra na hurrahi na bere nshtami. Nashwe kwa nkamizi gakufuka. Na homani ateka omufamire ombantu ababurijo na aza kurebwanta.
Alone and frightened, Dorcas first developed self-stigma as she feared to tell her parents of the disease she had been diagnosed with. She says on the fateful day, upon reaching home, she called all family members for a meeting during which she disclosed her HIV status. The revelation was shocking to everyone.
Buri omwe yareba ko buri omwe buri omwe enchi akakoko kasirimu omukeyitwa akakoko kasirimu nokagamba orwire oboshibu borwire ngu tukwatereho nobo kiri omuntu.
By this time, she had started developing severe HIV and AIDS signs and symptoms. Denying her transport, Dorcas later managed to walk to Tasso Mbara Center, where she was immediately enrolled on medication. While these drugs require a balanced diet, at home she was being denied food, and sometimes she would be locked up in the house to bar her from being in the public. As the situation worsened at home, Dorcas decided to cry out to one of her cousin brothers who lived in Mbarara City at the time for rescue. At that moment, Dorcas had developed complications with her pancreas and needed to be operated on. Fortunately, her brother then offered to take her to Mulago Hospital in Kampala, where she was indeed operated on. But as she explains, she is overwhelmed with emotions. As she was steadily healing from the wounds, her rescuer left for greener pastures abroad. This sparked off fresh trauma and stigma that almost led her to committing suicide.
Thank you so much, Dorcas Kimono, for that wonderful report that reminds all patients to seek for help once they feel like they're being stigmatized. Moving on from that, Prime Minister Robna Nabanja is representing His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni at the COP28 summit that is taking place in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. The summit that officially started today was opened by His Highness Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the President of the United Arab Emirates. The summit has been attended by several heads of state and government representatives, and in his communication, King Charles noted that high rate of carbon emission now standing at 30%, calling for immediate action to avert the likely disasters. Prime Minister of Uganda, Robna Nabanja, underscored the need by the world leaders to appreciate the need to have long-lasting solutions in protecting the environment.
Holders are kindly requested to proceed. Begin at the
Transformation of food system at the center of a climate strategy. And of course, we want to work in the same direction with all our partners in boosting sustainable food production.
To be able to do that, we need to do what we are doing here, is try to make the world understand that the agri-food systems is not just assuring the right to food, which is central for our core and our well-being.
As government of Uganda, we agreed that we need to act and act now. Because as you are aware that some of our people, because of the population pressure, have settled in areas where they are not supposed to settle. And so, as a country, that's why we are here. We are saying enough is what? Enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, in your hands is an unmissable opportunity to keep our common hope alive. I can only urge you to meet it with ambition, imagination, and a true sense of the emergency we face, and together with a commitment to the practical action upon which our shared future depends. And we need to remember, too, that the indigenous worldview teaches us that we are all connected, not only as human beings, but with all living things and all that sustains life.
The Parliamentary Committee on Environment and Natural Resources has commended the operations of the electricity bodies for ensuring a consistent and stable power supply in the country. Now, this commendation took place during the committee's oversight inspection of various electricity installations aimed at aimed at verifying the proper allocation of resources within the current national budget. The committee, under the leadership of its chairperson, Emmanuel Otola, is guided by the expertise of the Electricity Regulatory Authorities team. Details for that.
As the Parliamentary Committee on the Budget initiates its proceedings, certain subcommittees have undertaken the task of scrutinizing the progress of various projects funded by the government to ensure the judicious use of allocated resources.
Did the citizens get value for money? And the Parliament is an oversight institution. So our work involves checking on government. So we check on government to find out, did they utilize the money we allocated for them?
The Parliamentary Committee on Environment and Natural Resources is currently conducting inspections of diverse electricity installations, particularly those receiving funds from government.
As the money, we always report to them, we are doing this, we are establishing a substation, we are establishing a network of electricity distribution. Now, to give them confidence to give us money, they are coming out to see how we have used their money.
The initial focus was on Kakira Sugar Factory in Jinja, a facility contributing 30 megawatts to the national grid. During the inspection at Kakila, management reported a decline in power generation, attributing to the heightened competition for raw materials, notably sugar cane.
We pushed the price of cane even at a level that was not correct, it was even too high. But we wanted to crush at least half capacity.
The committee examined the solar plant installation in Mayuge, expressing optimism based on its management practices.
Is a setup like this in Mayuge for solar and then Kakira Sugar Works. The major issue where the neighbors should embrace such a project, they should increase on their social corporate responsibility.
Guided by the Electricity Regulatory Authority, the committee proceeded to evaluate the power infrastructure in Imbali Industrial Park, assessing the effectiveness of the allocated 3.2 billion shillings that earmarked for upgrading the power supply in Imbali City.
Of the transformers, we had also to upgrade the network, which is picking power from that transformer. In that, we are able to supply, and that we replaced all rotten poles. We put a bigger size of conductors.
To enhance power reliability in Imbali City, the government plans to collaborate with the Chinese to construct a substantial power substation, replacing the current mobile substation.
The government has partnered with the Chinese in the industrial park to build a permanent substation for the park. So it's mobile, as you can see, it even has wheels.
The committee's scrutiny of these electricity installations will serve as a guide when formulating the next budget framework in the realms of power generation, transmission and distribution. Abdul Nasser Lubwama for UBC.
At the recent fundraising dinner hosted at Protea Hotel in Kampala, Bishop's Girls School marked a significant milestone At the event, led by Mrs. Charlotte Kainerugaba and attended by prominent figures including her husband, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, successfully raised over 555 million Ugandan shillings. This substantial amount contributes to the ambitious 900 million target set for the construction of the school's main hall, envisioned as a dynamic space for nurturing talents of young girls beyond academic pursuits. The initiative, inspired by the North Ankole Diocese, seeks to empower the girl child in the Chiruhura and Kazo districts of Uganda. With a combined population of over 300,000 people, these districts have long grappled with the challenges unique to the education and development of girls.
The school was born by our bishop, Bishop Stephen Amanya. That was immediately after his consecration and enthronement. We are ranked among the 300 best schools in UCE in Uganda.
The proposed main hall aims to accommodate over 1,000 students and will serve as a central venue for showcasing diverse talents.
We need a multipurpose hall where we can gather when we have assemblies. We need a multipurpose hall for examination. Like for example, we have 2 years now, A level and O level. Once we have that multipurpose hall, we can use it as an examination hall. We can use it for meetings.
Mrs. Kainerugaba, speaking as the chief guest, emphasized her commitment to the cause, transcending her personal connection to the region.
To be the guest of honor, I did not hesitate to say yes, but I had to do some due diligence just to know what I was going to be guest of honor for. I found a clean and organized environment. I found students who looked sharp and disciplined. I found infrastructure that I did not think had been set up in that area for a school. And for the short amount of time they had established the school, the amazing academic performance they had achieved. And most attractive to me was the aspect of godliness. It is something that I treasure because that is my heritage. We were raised in a family of my grandfather was a missionary, and I know that if it was not for Christianity, we would be in a very different place. I know that Christianity is what enlightened them, is what brought education to the area, and that's what produced the leaders that we have today.
Speaking at the same event, General Muhoozi hailed his wife as a role model for young girls across Uganda and emphasized the importance of education for girls.
For the young girls, I cannot think of somebody better who can inspire the young girls in Chiruhura and in the country. A man called Chairman Mao Zedong, he said, "Women hold up half of the sky." It's a very famous quote. Women hold up half of the sky. What he meant by that is that women hold up half of society. And if you have half of society disabled because they're not going to school, your society as a whole is disabled, and you cannot have a free, prosperous, and stable society when the girl child and women as a whole are not represented.
The event was graced by the presence of notable figures such as retired Lieutenant General Henry Tumukunde, members of parliament and business leaders.
Tonight comes to 555 million. 150,000. To God be the glory. So
Bishop's Girls' School has set an ambitious 5-year goal to empower over 5,000 girls, an initiative aimed at not only reducing early pregnancy and school dropout rates, but also building a stronger, more equitable Uganda where girls play a pivotal role in society's development. Sharon Chomjisha, UBC News. Moving on from that, George William Nyombi Tembo has been named the new Executive Director of Uganda Communications Commission. During his swearing in, Mr. Tembo assured Ugandans that of 100% internet coverage across the whole country by 2025-2026. The swearing-in ceremony was presided over by the State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Honorable Godfrey Kabyanga. Take a look.
At all times, well and truly serve the Republic of Uganda in the office of the Executive Director of the Uganda Communication Commission, and that I will observe, support, and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established. So help me God.
I'm going to give you maximum support and minimum interference. I'm not going to say we shan't interfere, but we shall give minimum what? Interference. Because we are supposed to oversee the sector. And therefore, there can be minimum what? Interference.
We thank our policy makers, represented here by Honorable Sebugwawo and Honorable Kabyanga, for the continued guidance, the good policy environment, and also being our advocates out there. Thank you very much.
Uganda Muslim Supreme Council has shed light on the issue of Muslim properties but vowed to punish the leaders involved in the dispute.
During Juma prayers at the National Mosque in Old Kampala, security was tight and no one was allowed to enter without being checked by police at the UMSC security. Then the Juma submission started, led by Sheikh Imran Sali for Religious Affairs at UMSC. He preached about behaviors and manners in the community and family, requesting Muslims to behave the way Prophet Muhammad did.
The situation when things seem to have fallen apart, we also need to keep discipline and Islamic values. We should use proper channels when communicating with those in leadership.
After the Juma prayers, Second Deputy Mufti Sheikh Muhammad Ali Waiswa condemned Muslims who spread rumors about Muslim properties without proper channels.
For the incident that happened last Friday here in the masjid, it was unbecoming and uncalled for. Usually when we have concerns, we have ways we do officially to address them. It's not really becoming for one to come and cause anarchy in a congregation like this one that has come to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, we call upon you to remain calm. Yesterday, the Muslim General Assembly was convened and it resolved a number of issues. One of them, that it is ready to go on with the matter which is at court.
Sheikh Kasim Kamugisha, chairperson of the Disciplinary Committee, General Assembly, also RCC Nakawa, disclosed some of the issues discussed in the General Assembly yesterday, but emphasized all those involved in the case, which is in court, to be published under the law.
Assembly resolved that, as per the Constitution of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, a few members who showed dissatisfaction and some reaction last Friday in the mosque be handled as per the guidance of the Constitution, which talks about a disciplinary action that ranges from a dismissal to a caution.
Jamil Sekaja, Marshall Miro, UBC News.
Visionary of Uganda National Planning Authority have recognized the Directorate of Industrial Training under the Ministry of Education and Sports with the prestigious title of the Best Visionary Business, Technical, Vocational and Educational Training Quality Assurance Board of the year 2023. This recognition comes in acknowledgement of their outstanding contribution to the sector.
The awards ceremony in Kampala attracted a multitude of individuals and entities, showcasing the significance of the event. The third Deputy Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama says government is actively engaged in comprehensive efforts to uplift the lives of its citizens.
The NRM government is leaving no stone unturned into transforming the lives of the citizens through massive infrastructure development, massive investment in human capital development, welfare and job creation initiatives.
Nakadama commended entities and individuals that have played pivotal roles in advancing the country's development agenda. The Directorate of Industrial Training received recognition for the 5th consecutive time as the best TVET quality assurance body.
We take this opportunity to thank the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports, the Ministers of State and the Permanent Secretary, and also the Industrial Training Council, who have supported us. Otherwise we wouldn't have achieved this performance. We have been supported both financially, technically and policy guidance.
Minister for Finance Matia Kasaija stressed the connection between the quality of a nation and the vision of its people.
Government is focusing on sustaining economic recovery and building economic and enterprise resilience by focusing on 6 strategic interventions areas, including support for medical schools, science-based research and development, peace and security under the governance and the security programs.
Minister for Public Service Wilson Mururi Mukasa emphasized government's commitment to prioritize the full implementation of the parish development model.
We have been talking of merging various government agencies. We have been talking of mainstreaming. We've been talking even of abolishing others which are no longer necessary. And this is a really natural process. When something has lost its usefulness, we get rid of it, or we put it in a museum, and we get something better. So all this is aimed at making sure that the service that you're providing actually gives full support to the private sector, so that the private sector can move and grow, and we become better.
Additionally, efforts will be intensified in scaling up initiatives like Emyoga and oil and gas developments to provide enhanced support to institutions such as Uganda Development Bank and Uganda Development Corporation. I'm Nafka Farida and Ganga Henry.
Linon Sengendo, the Public Corporate Affairs spokesperson of Uganda Railways, has announced the temporary closure of Mukwano Road to facilitate the ongoing construction of the Namanve-Kampala railway line. This closure is expected to last for 2 weeks, and the public is urged to exercise patience during this period.
At 10 a.m. on Friday morning, 1st December, Mukwano Road was closed, aligning with the prior communication issued by Uganda Railways Corporation. This closure aims to facilitate the ongoing construction of the Namanve-Kampala railway line, which commenced months ago. Uganda Railways Public Corporate Affairs spokesperson has announced the implementation of diversions to ensure smooth flow of traffic. However, only small cars will be permitted on these alternative roads created by Uganda Railways.
The road, the Mukwano Road, as you approach Jinja Road, will be closed. The reason for the closure is for railway works along the level crossing.
He additionally says this temporary closure is to take a period of 2 weeks and the public is urged to cooperate.
We have provided for a diversion, a one-lane diversion that we believe will offer some form of route that the road users can use. However, we made this diversion for only the small, or what we call the light cars. The heavy commercial vehicles, the trailers, the lorries, the buses won't be allowed to access the level crossing. So we call upon the public to be patient as we undertake these works, because the aim is in the next 3 weeks to have completed the Kampala-Namave section.
The completion of this Kampala-Namave railway line this year will pave way for initiating the Mukono-Namave railway line section early 2024. Justin Nakami, Juman Samba, UBC News.
Leaders from the Great Lakes regions are in the initial stages of certification of all minerals exported from the region, according to the Ambassador Jao Samuel Kaholo. The certification is aimed at bringing about observance of the protocols on illicit natural resources, an end of political wars by the members.
Materials come from here.
The Great Lakes region comprises of countries like Angola, Burundi, Congo Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Rwanda, Central African Republic, Sudan, South Sudan, Uganda, Tanzania, and Zambia. Apart from their political, economic, and social interconnection, the entire region has abundant high-value minerals and other natural resources. Because of the high-value minerals, the region has experienced several conflicts supported by armed groups, illicit exploitation of minerals, and militarization.
Why should we continue to be one of the poorest? Why should we witness this continuous pain and suffering of our people?
To put an end to that, the International Conference on the Great Lakes region has embarked on the process of mineral tracking and certification to provide for sustainable conflict-free mineral chains among the member states. Certification, among others, will help to identify the mines which are under the control of armed groups, introduce traceability of minerals, and encourage importers to only trade in certified minerals.
And we want to make sure that we deny all illicit activities from happening, because it is the illicit exploitation of natural resources that is funding armed bandits, that is financing lack of transparency and lack of governance in the mining sector.
The move will also restore peace and respect for human rights in the mining areas. In the Natural Resources meeting convened in Kampala among leaders from the Great Lakes region, recommendation on elimination of armed groups and illegal exploitation of natural resources in the region were made.
Parce que nous nous rendons compte que souvent nos minerais sont exportés d'une manière brute. Ainsi, au bout des comptes, quand on vous donne les certificats, cela traduit en réalité, vous avez respecté les exigences.
The comprehensive mineral tracking system will ensure that the minerals originate from certified mines, and illicit relations between armed groups and those involved in the trade of minerals is encountered. The regional certification mechanism is an instrument to improve transparency and responsibility in the mineral production, and is also based on the ICGLR certification criteria. Susan Naonga reporting for ABC TV.
Bus Industries, Namamve, the manufacturers of buses for transporters, schools, tour operators, and special purpose vans and any customized vehicle. Metu Bus Industries offers a range of buses known for safety, comfort, and reliability. Depending on your needs, a bus can simply be a point A to point B people mover with just seats, or a special design that includes power outlet, Wi-Fi, television, refreshment center, and any other specification. Buy your buses from Metu and support industrialization of Uganda. Contact us on 0788 118586 or 0782 030303. Email us metuafricabus@gmail.com. Visit our website www.metubusafrica.com.
Jovia ng'oyolekera ku lugendo luno olw'obulamu nkuwa ekirabo eky'amaanyi agatazizibwa, amaanyi okulabibwa n'okuwulirwa mu mawanga ag'ewala ennyo, okutuuka buli wamu nga yadde togenzeeyo, ensi yonna ng'ekuli mu ngalo. Okutambula mu biseera n'okumanya buli kimu ekirina okumanyibwa. Jovia, kino kye kirabo kyange gy'oli.
Tewali kumuko kye ky'osobola okukola omukutu nnandameggwa ogwa MTN.
In this family, we can't agree on anything.
Martha.
We can't even agree on what to watch. All the games to play.
Martha.
Ndoza Mulabi. We can't even agree on what to eat. At least the one thing for now we can all agree on is the soap to use. He likes that it's big and lasts long. Anti-economy. I like that it keeps my skin smooth. Ate alina echovu. And the children like that. It smells amazing. Everyone is happy. Movit soap comes in 4 fantastic flavors. Movit family soap is truly soap for the whole family.
Movit. All day confidence.
In
the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy, Wanawoli.
Cyril.
Yes?
This is the bill.
What?
Malaria testing, 10,000. Treatment, 100,000 since we put her on drip.
So, can you do this for me? Before I brought my wife here, I'd already spent money on buying herbal medicine and drugs from the pharmacy, which didn't work.
But Cyril, the government gave out mosquito nets. Doesn't your family use them?
We got the mosquito nets, but they got holes and we didn't know what to do.
Protect your loved ones from malaria. Sew your mosquito nets whenever they get damaged to keep the mosquitoes away. Ensure all nets are tied up every morning to avoid damaging them. Ensure that everyone in your family sleeps under a treated mosquito net every night, whether it is a cold or hot season. Together, we can chase malaria out of Uganda. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Global Fund.
No malaria catch.
Prof Research abawanguzi bawadi ya Best East African Brand 2023 bakutegekedde omusomo the Great Sundowner 8 Sata Zimera Committee okukubira okubanga 26 November paka 2 December Equatorial Mall Hall rooftop omusomesa waffe yomukenkufu Nyanzi Julius ekyuma kiwagala kyuma musansi ne tekinologiya mubuli okukola ebigimusa okuva mu pampa z'abaana n'enjazi za vermiculite okukamula omubisi mu menvu ng'embidde ng'okozesa ekyuma okutandikawo obukolero ng'okukola sabuni wa habo n'okukola ebibiriiti kugateka ennima y'omulembe ng'okulima ekitiko okutukwa abakadde kanodama mushroom okulima ensogasoga jangu oyiga okugattako omutindo gamba ng'okukola ebizigo n'omubisi okuva mu kigagi okukamula butto mu nsogasoga nga tiketi ya mitwalo 10 ng'ofunirako tule y'amagi ga safrani n'ekitiko kya ganodama saa 3 ez'okumakya nga tutandika buukinga tiketi yo ng'ogigula ku mobile money ku noti 7 noti 3 152
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching UBC News tonight, and in our business stories, well, we start off with a groundbreaking development. The success of Emyuga Savings and Credit Cooperatives in Ankole has captivated Bunyoro Emyuga Sacco leaders' attention. The Bunyoro delegation, led by Badru Mugabe, the resident city commissioner of Hoima City, is spearheading a compelling awareness campaign in the oil city. The commitment to adopt Ankole's successful strategies and all the remarkable growth of Bunyaruguru Development Circles and Bunyaruguru Carpenters Circles reflects adaptability and community impact. In a remarkable development, the thriving success of Emyuga Savings and Credit Cooperatives in Ankole region has captured the attention of a visiting delegation from Bunyoro Emyuga Circles. The delegation has initiated a comprehensive sensitization campaign in the All City region to encourage communities to embrace the Emyuga initiative.
The owners of circles and associations in Ankole own them, which is lacking in the other region. And then the other observation is members of these circles and associations have invested a lot of time a lot of money to buy shares.
During a benchmark visit organized by the Microfinance Support Center, Badru Mugabe, the head of the Bunyoro Emyuga Circles delegation, also the resident city commissioner of Hoima City, emphasized the importance of Emyuga Circle members in Bunyoro taking ownership of the initiative.
The advice I want to give to the members is they should own up these Emyuga Circles with the seed capital that government gave them. They should not look at it as free money. Secondly, they should be interested in the leadership of what the leaders of the circle are doing, and they should also interest themselves in the growth of these circles.
Addressing liquidity challenges in circles, particularly in Bunyoro, was highlighted as crucial for facilitating a smoother borrowing process. In the course of the benchmark visitation tour, leaders from Bunyoro Emyuga Sacco representing 11 districts, including Chiwoga, Bulisa, Hoima and Kakumiro committed to adopting successful strategies employed by Ankwale Myuga circles.
I have learned that we must own circles such that we grow this circle for our own development.
The cost of saving, it is normal to them. So most of the people are keeping the money in their circle banks.
For them, they love one another, which have made their circles to develop.
When we go back there, we are going to use these tactics we have got from this way to make sure that our borrowers also pay back the loan that we gave to them.
In a noteworthy move supported by the Microfinance Support Center, the Bunyaruguru Development Circles in Bunyaruguru District showcased adaptability and a sustained economic impact on the community.
The Microfinance Support Center supported us with funds, and they don't end on funds, they even give us trainings. And most people here around, to tell you the truth, they are now educated through circles. Even farmers used not to have inputs, we give them.
With the Microfinance Support Center financial injection of 30 million Ugandan shillings to Bunyaruguru Carpenters Circle, the circle has the potential to enhance its operations, invest in new equipment, and possibly expand its reach. The focus on adding value to timber indicates a strategic approach to improving the carpentry industry, fostering growth, and creating more opportunities for carpenters.
I request fellow members of Emyoga, that money, let us use it as they were taught. It's not money for eating, it's just money to develop our families, our workshops.
The Bunyaruguru Carpenters Circle highlights the positive impact of targeted financial support on local businesses. Projects like these drive economic development and foster sustainable. That's all we had for you for now. Do join me again at 10 p.m. for more news coming your way. My name is Sharon Chomdisha.